I'm Summer Huntington of Steel Mace Vinyasa and Flow Shala, and today I'll be demonstrating a reverse mill with a club and a mace into Warrior Two position. Now, let's start with just uncovering what is a mill and why is it important to healthy shoulders. So a mill is essentially a throwing pattern where I'm bringing a mace or a club behind my back and I'm simulating a throwing pattern. So generally, my feet would ideally stay pointed straight ahead. I incorporate thoracic rotation and I find a kind of spiral energy from my ankles, through my knees, through my hips, my trunk, and my rotator cuff to basically quantify all of the forces in all of those movable joints to launch something through space, throw it as far as I can. And that, having opposable thumbs, that's one of the most valuable tools that you could have as a human, is being able to grab something with your thumbs, pick it up, and throw it far for either self-defense or sport, leisure. There's a million reasons why you'd want to throw. In everyday life, we have removed a lot of the things that our shoulders were naturally built to do. So this is why it's so critical that we restore these natural movement patterns by incorporating things like 7-pound steel mace, 10-pound club. So let's start with the 7-pound steel mace. Now, I don't recommend a beginner start with a mill, but I'll just show you what the end point is. So in a full mill, I do an inside circle, I catch in order, I cast the mace behind my back, I land in order, semicircle swing, catch, order position, back behind me, catch in order. This is staccato style. Eventually a continuous mill looks like this. It can be a little awkward when you get into the longer mace. I prefer to do most of my mills with clubs, but I definitely like to incorporate some of the 7-pound mills so that I can do my yoga asana training as well. So that's the end goal, but there's a lot of preliminary steps that a lot of people miss before they get there. So to build a healthy mill, if you have tight shoulders or you're deconditioned in throwing patterns, you'll want to start with the basics. So you'll want to start with things like a helper hand here, so starting in order position, mace in back position, mace in order position, back position, order position. You can do this from standing, you can do this from kneeling. In our Steel Mace Vinyasa seminars and our training programs, I always have everything kind of written out. Everything's progressive in nature. So once you've established that you can do a casting pattern, the next progression would be, can I do a modified side flag and bring my mace into back position here with my scapula winging and tipping safely? And can I return back to order? External rotation, mace in back position, clearing the shoulder, and then coming back. Eventually, over time, I can bring my mace into back position, open out to order, combine those two planes together here. And this, I call this a slow grind. I call it a shield cast. Mark Wildman calls it a shield cast. It's like a very modified shield cast, moving from modified side flag into order. His shield cast is more of the martial arts style shield cast, but this is a building block to get there. So beginners start here, and then eventually over time, we can start with the mace in a prayer position, back position, side flag, back position, modified prayer position, side flag, and now I'm adding my rotation here. Still gripping pretty strongly here. And then over time, you'll notice when you get really good at mills, the elbow angle increases. So I drop my thumb to my t-shirt, I drop my thumb to my t-shirt, versus holding strong and steady, keeping a fixed angle at the elbow. So mills do take a lot of practice. Take your time, work things isolated first in the frontal plane, then in that sagittal plane, then merge the planes, then move inside, outside, and cross-train. I love working with both mace and club, and they have different purposes and different benefits. So for my mills here, it's a slightly different load. Notice I'm doing a lot of side hip rooting, anticipating that catch. I can do my throwing pattern, so this is like over the top throwing pattern. But I don't want to just be over specialized in that over the top throwing pattern or the forward mill. I also want to make sure that I've got a nice clean reverse mill, right? Healthy shoulders, strength in all directions, not becoming over specialized in one direction. Moving my hips. So I basically clear my shoulder, rotate my body, land in order, semicircle swing. Clear my shoulder, rotate simultaneously, cast, swing, catch. Back position, rotate, cast, swing, catch. All right, so those are mills with a club versus mills with a mace. Now, when you're wanting to study the Steel Mace Vinyasa Level 2 content, let's say you want to come out to a Steel Mace Vinyasa Level 2 seminar. We've got one here in this specific studio. It's also virtual, coming up at the end of April. Look on the workshops tab at the Shala website or down below. But let's say you want to learn the more compound and complex movements. So I pulled one from my actual manual. This is the Steel Mace Vinyasa Level 1 and 2 program just written out. So the program is available online. You can go through all the workout, but it's also written in manual form as well that you only get if you're in one of the teacher trainings. You also have the 50-hour and the 100-hour. You can tell I'm really nerding out about teaching. Okay, so I've got my reverse mill into a yoga asana, mace and modified side flag. You pull back to the starting position, parallel the feet. So here's my forward mill. Here's my reverse mill. It makes more sense for me to do a reverse mill if I'm stepping this way, because watch. Here, my momentum is carrying me that way, but in a reverse mill, it makes sense to open out, watch. External rotation in the shoulder. External rotation in the shoulder. Now, of course, I want to have external rotation in my hip as well. External rotation in shoulder and hip, hit warrior 2. Return to center. Semicircle swing. Carry the momentum of my mace. Maybe I hit my modified side flag. Maybe I hit my full side flag. Modified, then full. Straighten the arm. Modified, full side flag. Lats on. I'm not hyperextending my elbow. I'm hitting that yoga position under load. Returning back to parallel feet. Semicircle swing, reverse mill. Ideally, you want to be able to do that on both sides. You don't want to over-specialize and overtrain. Just be good with our right hand. If we want to make sure we're good on both sides, move my club out of the way. So in the Steel Mace Vinyasa Level 1 and Level 2 programs, really designed all the exercises to be progressive. I'm kind of just plucking one from the middle of the workout, but there would have been some progressions to get us here, okay? YouTube, we only have so much time, so reverse mill. So I don't want to, establish I've got a nice clean reverse mill. Again, the why, I'm not doing a throwing pattern going that way. I'm opening up my external rotators and externally rotating my shoulders so I get more open shoulders and then lifting my leg, opening my leg here, landing in that open hip stance. Returning back to the starting position. Reverse mill. Warrior 2, modified side flag. Reverse mill. Warrior 2, option for full side flag. Semicircle swing, reverse mill, modified side flag warrior 2, full side flag warrior 2, straighten the arm, pivot. Training with a purpose. And then when I take my load away, what's left is a fortified posture. I've woken up and activated all of my hip stabilizers, all of my trunk rotators, my shoulders. I've got proprioception super active, vestibular sense really active, my center of gravity, my balance, my ankles. So I'm really training with a purpose so that I can access the pose with ease. And you bet when I remove that mace and perform the yoga asana, what's left is that yoga pose feels really, really easy, and that's the whole point. We want to essentially trick our nervous system into perceiving yoga as easy, because when yoga feels easy, we do it and we relax in it. When yoga feels hard, because I didn't do all that prep work or conditioning or getting myself, my muscles, everything kind of active, when I omit that conditioning piece, most people go into a yoga pose and they're shaking and quaking because it's so hard, because there hasn't been enough conditioning. Yoga needs load to be a complete training system so that your nervous system does not freak out and quiver and shake when you get into the yogasana. We want a nice, clean, able to breathe. Things are open and expanded to get the full benefit of the yoga asana. We want to be relaxed. A dead giveaway, if you're not relaxed or in parasympathetic, dead giveaway that's you're in fight or flight is holding your breath, wincing your face, grimacing your face. It's usually, you can tell on a person's face whether or not they're relaxed in the yoga asana. I hope you enjoyed that little nerd out session. Try out the reverse mills by themselves. Try the shield cast variations, the slow grind variations. Try pairing it together with stepping into a very short warrior two, and then eventually over time stretching it longer into a longer warrior two. And if you want to pioneer this method, you want to learn the why behind Steel Mace Vinyasa, highly encourage you to check out the workshops tab at the Shala website. I've got all the seminars listed. There's virtual trainings happening all the time, all year round, and there's in-person events as well, and I'd love to meet you at a seminar. Leave a comment below. I'm curious what you learned and what you found helpful in this tutorial.